This is coming on the heels of the wildfires in California going on right now. I've got family and friends there who are suffering. People who've lost houses, people who are being threatened with being evacuated, and it's very sad, obviously. And a lot of people I've seen online have been posting about like things like why aren't they using ocean water, and why is this such a problem? There's literally an ocean full of water near this situation, and I'm like, and I had the same question. It got me thinking about what can be done. Everyone's asking, why can't we use salt water? There's a couple different reasons, in my opinion, why you can't use salt water. I'm not a professional. I'm just a person who's been around long enough to know a few things. Firstly, animals in the sea and so forth could get scooped up. Divers in the sea could get scooped up, dropped off. And we've seen it happen. We saw it Magnolia. It's happened before. But the main thing, and a lot of people would talk about that, is number one, salt corrodes the equipment of the fire departments using it. But also on top of that, salt biblically is going to damage the land. It will make it impossible to grow. Scorched earth sown with salt. So you can't do that. But in my head, I'm like, why don't we do something like this? And unfortunately, this would be a perfect time for the Palisades area to produce this because they're going to have to rebuild it and replant it. Basically, it'll be a water desalination plant, a hydropower turbine, as well as a few other things added into it. Set up a cistern in the ocean where the water will go. There'll be a series of levels, just like if you were going to try and purify your own water using various levels of rocks, sand, charcoal, etc. Big fish, little fish. It's going to be like a Coinstar for the sea. It'll be our Coinstar fish. So the water will come in. The animals will be allowed to get back out again. It'll be a constant flow of water because it's underwater. There's always going to be enough water in there. So once the water goes in and the animals have been pushed back out, so you have that opening in the ocean set up, layered it with enough levels of mesh and so forth to keep it open, but not so it's going to harm the animals. The water goes in. The next part is the water that's pushing into the hole is going to be fed through a turbine, which will then create hydroelectric power, almost like you got a big ocean, then you have a drop off here and the turbine spins as the water falls off. Classic, water wheel, etc. That water gets turbine power, boom, 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 boom. And then you have the area where you've got your desalination happening. Basically, you're going to be evaporating the water, leaving behind the salt. So now you have two things. You have salt that can be sold all over the world, just like Celtic sea salt, Himalayan, all of the places that do this. And then you have your clean water, which can do two things. First, it can be contained where they can be used in forest fires, but also it can be sent out to help during the drought. So you have the water. And so in the Palisades or wherever there are issues, you've got yourself the big ass sprinkler set up, powered to spray the water out 360 degrees. If you are that concerned with appearances, you can build this tower to spray out, look like a tree. We've seen it before, where the old cell phone towers are made to look like trees, etc. And it can spray, I'm just going to pull out a number because I don't know, half a mile of spraying. You set up these things in increments. Mile 0, I have a tower. At mile 1, I have a tower. Each have a half mile spray where they're kind of covering this area. You have a constant amount of water coming in from the ocean. There's no animals being harmed. You've got the hydro turbine spinning as it processes the water through. You have the water being desalinated before it's sent to the holding tanks. You got to collect salt, sell that somewhere, make back the money to pay for all the pressure and all the things that are going to be needed to make sure that those sprinklers will be able to properly sending out the water where it needs to go to. Why hasn't someone done that? And I know it would be pricey, but this is an actual idea that has potential to recoup its own money and in time begin to generate income for the plant, or the state, or whatever. And that way you're not having to worry about pulling out people's pools, pulling out from people's lakes. And hopefully you could then have a situation where you don't have to worry about insurance companies who are demanding that you have to have these kind of additional catastrophic clauses because you live in a wildfire zone. More than likely, you will have to have some sort of additional coverage, because if for some reason Justin's world famous patented giant sprinkler system for preventing wildfires, it's a working title. If something happens, if there's an earthquake and the pipes get busted or whatever, you've got the coverage to cover it, but you won't have to pay nearly as much. get me to Elon Musk, get me to Bill Gates, get me to somebody who can work with me, and let's make this happen. Much love, prayers to everyone out in California right now dealing with the wildfires. I hope that everyone is safe. Everyone, we're praying for you. We hope that you get out of it unscathed. We hope as many buildings can be saved as possible. We look to you and we love you. Be good and be kind.
Not bad.